3 p.m. on the dot. So that's 2 minutes time while we wait for others to join us for this session. It's a pleasure having all of you on this.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure having all of you. And I see that this topic is quite an interesting one. It's something that so we're now live on we're live on YouTube. Yes.
Okay.
So, now I've made Oyedamola an admin, so I'm going to make Dr. Tolu also a co-host so that he can be adding those who are joining us online, because I've admitted one now. I've admitted George, Peter, so people are coming on. I'm adding them right now.
Okay.
All right.
I feel excited about the topic because I know there's so much going on out there that we really need to learn about. So I think it's going to be exciting. So don't forget, we're live on YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm going to share our YouTube. So I will leave you on Oyedamola and Doctor. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. The topic is mental health, how it affects career development and growth.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, I think you know about it. So, please, can you tell us what mental health is?
Okay, I think before I go into mental health, I would like to talk briefly about health.
Okay.
So then we'll join it to mental health. Health, according to WHO's organization, their definition is that it is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, not the mere absence of disease and infirmity. So from there, we can join it, we can link it to mental health. So health is the state of complete physical, mental, and physical well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So mental health is actually is a component of health. So what is mental health? Mental health actually refers to the cognitive, behavioral, and emotional well-being. It's also about how people think and feel and they behave. So mental health is all encompassing and can affect all other components of health.
Okay. Okay. So the mental health, how does it affect career? Like, how do you know when it affects your career?
Okay. There are different signs and symptoms of mental health. There are different signs and symptoms that points to the fact that a person is having mental health challenges. One of it is lack of sleep or poor sleep. One of it is being anxious, overtly anxious about everything, or being depressed. Lacking joy in whatever gives you joy before, too much sleep, too much eating. So many things can point to the fact that there is a mental health breakdown. Some people will have it's also this tightening of the chest or chest pain. Some people have, how will I call it now? I've talked about poor sleep, eating too much, yes, or lack of joy in things that gives you joy normally. So when you start experiencing that, you're depressed, you're not happy. Some people withdraw from gathering together with other people, just want to be on their own. They are anxious, they are not happy, they are sad, they are overtly sad about almost everything. So you start thinking that something is wrong with the person's mental health.
Okay, that's true. So how do you balance your mental health and your career? How do you balance them together?
Yes, mental health is actually all encompassing. Is
Okay.
all encompassing, as in mental health affects all other things. That's why you want to really take care of your mental health. And sorry, the question again.
Like
How
how
it
do you
affects,
no, how
how
do
do
you
you
balance
balance
career
the
and your
mental,
mental
your
balance
career
it?
and your mental health?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, you can balance your career and your mental health in the sense that you are looking out for yourself in your
Okay.
career. You're looking out for yourself. There's what we call self-love.
Yeah.
You're practicing self-love. You are trying to reduce stress as much as possible. You are trying to balance things. There's a fine balance between having a good mental health and tipping into mental health disorders
Yeah.
like anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, and all that. So you want to look out for yourself, especially in the area of stress. How is your
Mm.
career? How is your career bringing stress to you, and how can you mitigate those stress? How can you try to curb the stress or reduce it? And all you want
Yeah.
to look at, yes, and look into your day-to-day activities, how you can
Yeah.
make it easier and better for yourself, so that
Mm-hmm.
in a good state of mental health to carry out your career and to be the best version of yourself, actually.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So when do you think, like, how does career, how does it affect your health? Like, when do you start noticing, like, what are the symptoms that you start noticing that my mental health is affecting my career? Like, what stage will it get to?
Okay. I think you have to look into the
Yeah.
work schedule, the work
Okay.
schedule. Like, you want to make sure that in your career you have a defined goals or workflow that you want to get into, of your how will I call it now, of your when you're appointed to a job, you have to have a particular um, specific goals or task of what you have to do, right? So
Yeah.
now if you have a job or if you have a career, you want to make sure that you have a well-defined career goals or well-defined task that you have to achieve. So when you start not meeting up with the deadlines of your goals or of your task in your career, you know that maybe something is going wrong. You are not meeting up with the deadlines. You are not happy. At times
Okay.
might be from the work, and some people, they withdraw from their work colleagues. They are not interacting with them as much as possible. They are not
Yeah.
happy in the work environment. The work does
Mm-hmm.
not give them as much satisfaction as they feel it will give them. And
Okay.
if you start seeing that, you have to really sit back and reevaluate things. That how can am I coping with this work as am I performing? Am I
Yeah.
putting the necessary inputs into the work? Am I am I being productive enough? Is the stress not too much? Am I in a good working environment? Am I being
Oh,
understood? Do I have a good working team, a supportive team? You have to look. It's an all-encompassing thing in the work environment, actually.
yeah. So what are the things that you can say we can do to avoid this thing? What can we do?
Well, mental health. Um, uh, for the health generally, it affects, like I said before, you are thinking of your physical health, your social health, as it
Mm-hmm.
affects every other thing. So
Yeah.
as at the work environment, you want to make sure that you have to focus on yourself first before you
Mm-hmm.
actually start thinking about the work environment. You have to focus on yourself first before you start
Okay.
thinking about the work. When you are good, you are okay, you don't have issues, it helps you to take the stress that's coming from the work better. You understand? So you have to take care of yourself first. You have to be in a good state of mind first before you actually think about the career and about how you want to get into career development and get better. So you want to look into yourself first. You want to practice self-love, like I said earlier on. As with yourself, you want to carry self-love. You want to make sure that you are doing the things that you enjoy doing. You want to make sure that you are doing the things that you enjoy doing. You want to make sure that you have proper nutrition, proper hydration. You have to have adequate rest, exercise for you to perform optimally. Then, like there's this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You want to make sure that your needs are being met. Physiological needs, health needs, and safety. Okay. So you want to be okay. You want to be good on yourself. Mm-hmm. Then you want to understand the nature of the stress you are going through and how will I call it now? How to better handle the stress. Then if you are good, you are practicing self-love, you enjoy what you are doing, you exercise, you sleep well, you have good support system around you and all that, then you now want to look into the work environment. Okay, at work, do I have a good and supportive team? Do I understand my role and I am doing my best to make sure that I finish my task? Am I self-confident and all that? It will really help you. It will really boost your productivity and performance. And you also want to understand the stressors in your work environment. What are things that are stressing me? And you want to make sure if you have to work to make sure you overcome them, or if you have to ask for help or talk to the management about them, then you can do that. You identify the stress, try to make sure that you mitigate against the stress. And the company too has a lot to do when it comes to the career goals and development for a particular employee. They want to make sure that they create an enabling environment, enabling environment for the employee, for the worker to be productive and to perform maximally. The work environment, the remuneration. You want to make sure that you give them adequate salary on time. Then the company too want to make sure that the company recognizes and adequately rewards the staff that performs well. Some companies they will not recognize your performance until there is a query. That's when they will actually send a letter or an email or something. So you want to as a company, so you want to recognize their birthdays, you want to reach out to you want to make sure that they have this sense of belonging, that they are doing well. And if they are not doing well as well, you want to communicate that to them. Somebody is raising up their hands here. I don't think, will you take that, or will I be able to take that?
I think you should.
Okay.
Is ask a question.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much. There were some things you said. You actually made reference to the hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy, and yes. I was actually discussing Oyinda before we started this session, and we talked about the current realities, especially in the Nigerian polity and also the global polity. Now, we have seen situations whereby an able-bodied man got on the bridge and actually jumped inside the river or the sea and died. So what will prompt an able-bodied man to take such a decision? Considering that the person has a wife, the person has kids, and the person is able-bodied. So what will make such a person, actually carry out that kind of act. It's actually a criminal act in Nigerian constitution. So I'm just wondering, from the mental side, so I think a lot of us in the country right now, we're passing through a lot. If you look at it, if you step out right now, I'm sure that all filling stations in Nigeria are jam-packed. And sometimes we have, even me, I've had to step out of the office just to go queue for fuel. So how do we manage this kind of mental challenge?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Like I said earlier on, we have to be proactive in managing our mental health. When we see that we are depressed, like I said, the symptoms I talked about a few, there could be overt depression, and there could be just some, like from the textbooks, it's been said that about 7 to 8% of the population will actually experience depression or mental health challenges or depression in their lifetime, while about 30% of the population will actually experience minimal signs of depression that could be taken care of. So when we should be proactive about our own mental health. When you see that you are not happy with yourself, you are not happy with the job you are doing, everything makes you sad, you feel hopeless, hopelessness, anxiety, you are anxious, you are depressed, and so on. Some people eat so much. Some people lack joy in what they are doing. When we start seeing those signs, we should not be quiet about it. When we start seeing those signs, some people eat too much, sleep too much, lack of self-care. For some people, even to go and take their bath and eat for the day is actually how will I call it now? Is actually very difficult for them. So when we start noticing that extreme helplessness, hopelessness, sadness, lack of joy, some people will eat too much, some people will eat less, some people will start gaining weight and all that. When we notice that, it is time for us to actually reach out to our support system first. We could reach out to our support system, our family, our friends. We will discuss our options and all that. And if we still feel that it's not doing it, we are not getting out of it, we could go to the hospital to talk to a mental health physician, actually. So it could be extreme mental illness, actually. When you look at those kind of scenarios of an able-bodied man just waking up and going to jump into the river, because most likely the person is hopeless, has thought that there is no way out of their challenges or problems. Yeah. So they could do that. So when the signs start manifest, every one of us actually will have those signs at one point or the other because of some stress that we'll go through. So when we start having those symptoms and signs, or when we see our friends having those symptoms and signs, we should actually rise up early to make sure that they get the needed attention from the hospital. And some mental health illness could actually be, most of them are treated like chronic illness, like diabetes, hypertension. And if they are well treated, they are taking their drugs, they have good support system, they could actually go on to fulfill their career goals and actually get to the top of their careers, actually. There's some lawyers, judges, even doctors. When I was in medical school, because of the stress, some of my classmates, both juniors and seniors, some of them broke down, and today they were taken care of. And some of them, they eventually graduated to become doctors. Some of them are at the peak of their careers right now. So the challenge is actually recognizing recognizing the signs and symptoms of mental health disorder or depressive signs and all that, getting to know those symptoms and signs early, and asking for help actually. Because when you notice those signs and symptoms and you bottle them in, you stay by yourself, you don't ask for help, it might progress into something like that. God forbid.
Yeah, you have said a lot, and it is well understood.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, I think Mr. Bamidele still has a question.
Yes, there was something I actually discussed with some of my colleagues some time ago, and that discussion actually came up.
From there, it disappeared.
No, we are still going back again. That discussion came up from some, like a poster that we always saw on our door, and what the poster is that work-life balance. I think he was talking about work-life balance, that if you do not take care of your family, at the end of the day, nobody will take care of you. So how can we actually promote work-life balance to aid? Because I know I'm not the expert, you are the expert, but I'm just asking that because of the current situation, how do we now promote that work-life balance in such a way that will not too much towards one side and one other side will suffer?
Wow. That's it. That's a $1 million question. Wow. There's a fine balance between that, the work-life balance actually. And it all depends on the individual, what they hope to achieve in their career and in their personal life. So I think the individual is much more responsible to make sure that they try as much as possible to put in the work-life balance. If you're at work, some people will say, if you're at work, make sure that you do your work well and end it at work. And when you get home, face the family as much as you can. Some people would say, don't bring your work, don't let there be like overrunning of duties from work into the home, because it's like when you bring your work from the workplace to home, it's like you're continuously working, and sometimes some people don't actually have time for their family. So it actually depends so much on the individual, knowing that the two, work is important and the family as well is actually important, and trying to find time to make sure that none of it suffers. You don't want your spouse to feel like you are a workaholic, you don't have time for them, and that all you know is about work. It's a thin balance actually. So if you are not a career person that works during the weekend, you can make time for your family, make time for the family, and maybe have time during the weekend for them, have some mini gatherings, talk, bond with them, and all that. So I think that's all I can say. I don't know if anybody has any other thing to add.
Okay. Oyindamola, I know we had some discussion also. There was a time where we're actually relating this particular topic to cases of sexual harassment in the work. And I know that this is a topic that it's been discussed a lot amongst the ladies. So probably, Oyindamola, I don't know, maybe you could share some of the experiences so that we all learn from whatever experience. Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but
I'm sure Oyindamola is well able.
Yeah. So let's be honest. In this country, like, it's really, really stressful. To be honest, jobs can be very tough and demanding. So there are some times when looking for jobs are not really affect your mental health, because most of the times, you know, when you go looking for a job, especially as a lady, you get harassed sexually. You know, most people will tell you that, okay, you want a job, come and meet me in some place, they will book an hotel, even without your consent.
Yeah.
So it's really, really stressful. I'm talking out of experience. It's really, really stressful, and it's really affecting mental health. So in this type of situation, what do you think I should do? After experiencing it like 3-4 times, how do you think I'm able to balance my mental health and move forward? What do you think I should do?
This is a $1 million question as well. I think what one can do, because there are actually a lot of things that actually stress us, that actually makes us anxious, makes us depressed, makes us think that why should things go like this? But I think one of the things that we can do is to you just have to brush off something. Just like water runs off the dock. You have to just brush off some things and not allow it to get to you. If you have to discuss it with your friends, have a good support system, talk about it and move on from it. Even though I've also been sexually harassed at work before, even though it's a different thing entirely. But talk about it, move on from it, and if you're a job seeker, you still go on. That will not stop you from trying to get a job. By God's grace, one might still see one that one is not going to be harassed, or things will go normally at that time. So I think it's just life, because there is no proper way to report. I'm not sure if there are avenues in Nigeria to actually report workplace harassment. There is none for now. There is none. And you talked about it as a job seeker, right? If you're in a job, if you're already in a job, the only thing you can do is to try to document conversations, maybe text messages as much as possible, so that you have enough evidence. And so if it comes to that, maybe if there's somebody higher in the hierarchy of the company that you can actually talk to, then maybe. But if it continues and you feel you cannot take it and you're already in the job, maybe one will have to start submitting CVs till one can get another job. Actually, it's a sorry state, and it's so pathetic, but it is what it is right now. I don't know if I don't know if there are civil societies or all this how will I call it now? These charitable organizations that one can report to, and they can take up the issue, and one can get seek redress legally. If there are, then one can explore such options.
I think I got about 5 organizations that handles harassment in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, I know of Women at Risk International Foundation.
Okay.
Yes. I think that was founded in 2016 by Dr. Ibu, Kemi Da Silva Ibu. She's a gynecologist. I know of that one. I also know of Wine and Wine MG. It's also, yes.
Wine and
Wine, as in wine, WINE, and WHINE. It's an organization.
Okay.
Then Hands Off Initiative. Okay. Hands Off Initiative. I think that was launched by Ololade Gane Kale in 2015. Also, I think once we type them on search engines, we can always get them. Then the Mirabel Center, I think that's one of the oldest. Mirabel Center by Itoro Anaba. She's a lawyer. I think most of them founded this based on their personal experiences. Founded them. So just for our viewers, so that they can have this information handy. That's why I mentioned that.
That's good. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. So then, concerning this, there was something you mentioned also. I'm still making reference to the Maslow's hierarchy. Now, in Maslow's hierarchy, I know that the lowest cadre is the food. I think that's the lowest cadre, food. However, I know that 33.3%, based on Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, 33.3% unemployment rate we have currently in Nigeria. This is actually growing. It's something that is actually growing. And how do we, what do we tell those 33.3%? How can we help them? What do we tell those people that are still unemployed? How can they manage? I've seen situations whereby someone graduated in this year, and 5 years, the person is still at home. What do we tell them? Should we tell them that, okay, they should still continue searching for jobs, or they should go into entrepreneurship, or they should, what do we tell them? How can they manage their mental balance? Because this is what I see that drives a lot of youths into all these activities. Ritual killing, a lot of ritual killings, especially the first quarter of this year. So how do we tell those 33.3% to manage their mental health?
Well, it's a sorry case, it's a pathetic case in the country right now because our governments are, the government is a little bit insensitive to the needs of the population, and things are not put in place to help support the growing population of the country, which translates to increasing number of unemployed people. Yeah, what do we tell them? We actually tell them to explore a lot of options, not to get fixated on looking for jobs. Like you said, you have actually answered some of the questions. We could tell them to consider entrepreneurship. They will consider entrepreneurship. They could consider getting skilled in a particular area of interest. Let's say they could enroll for skill acquisition. Entrepreneurship is one. Enrolling for skill acquisition is one, and is another. And they could actually explore a lot of options. They can actually look inwards as well to think about their own talents and what they are good at, and see how they could translate it into making money. We could also talk about really having to get something to having to make money is actually in two ways. You could actually look into selling services or marketing a particular product. So the service whatever is handless. We'll talk about getting something to do. It's actually wide. I just feel that
maybe we could just throw it up to some of our participants if they can just chip in one or two things, because it's more of a discussion and not just a one-sided thing, because we're here to just learn from every member. So I'm going to put some people on the spot. Waliu Adenle, I see that you're online. Waliu, Adele. Waliu Adele. Okay. Waliu is not. Waliu is on. Probably is not here. How about Peter Onogbo Ndukaku? Peter Onogbo Ndukaku.
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Okay, he's unmuted.
Yes, good afternoon. So, based on that last discussion that we're having, that what do we tell 33.3% unemployed graduates? How are they going to manage? Some of them have been unemployed for so many years, and there are a lot of challenges right now in the country. So, what are your thoughts?
Okay, my thought is that 33.3 unemployed youth, just like you mentioned earlier, every one of them should have a support system to avoid such issues of mental health. A support system in that they should have mentors. Once in a while, you talk to your mentor. You are still in search for this. The job search for this populace should not be for them alone. Some people also should help them. They should approach consulting firms in case they are doing recruitment. They should embrace talent development. They should acquire skills that can enhance their employability in the market. I think this will go a long way to assist them.
Wow. But the truth is that, there was something you said there, Peter. You mentioned going to job agents. Now, an average, for instance, from my own experience now, I've seen a situation whereby job seekers actually they make payments with several recruiters. And when they make the payment, some pay as much as 20,000 naira to recruiting agents. And when they pay this amount to recruiting agents, 1 month, the person has not gotten any job. 2 months, the person has not gotten it. 3 months. So, sometimes it can be discouraging, especially for people that are unemployed. How do they cope with this kind of situation?
The truth of the matter is that due to a corrupt system that is in the country presently, there are some other consulting agencies that do take their charges at the time they have secured the job for the prospective candidate. So not really now that there are fraudsters in the system, there are still also good ones.
Okay, thank you, Peter Onoigbo, for your contribution. We have Susan Okonma. Susan Okonma, you may want to unmute your mic and share your thoughts on this topic. Susan Okonma.
All right, good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, Susan.
All right, it's been quite an interesting moment with this team. But if I'm asked to share my thought, I'm not prepared. I know you call me. I just logged in to just hear, okay? But talking about unemployment, I think the Madam Tolu said something about entrepreneurship. I think if the youth can be empowered to be involved in entrepreneurship, the more, I think it's better. Talking about job creation than maybe when you graduate, you just fix your mind on you getting employed. The truth is our population is overgrowing. And we need to start doing something. Even if entrepreneurship would also be included in the curriculum, whereby the students are taught on how to build their own companies and firm. I think it will go a long way to mitigate this unemployment issue in our country. It will really go a long way. I think we should talk more on entrepreneurship, how to become an entrepreneur and all that. It will really go a long way. So that's my own thoughts.
Okay.
I'm done.
You are mute.
Oh, sorry, I was muted before. So
Okay.
now, in as much as it's good to go for entrepreneurship, now there's so much insecurity in the land. For instance, there was a case whereby a lady was actually seeking for a job in Niger Delta. I've forgotten the particular place. It was all over the news. It actually went back. And in the process of her searching for a job, he was actually killed. And how did we go? How did we get to know? She actually called, I think, her friend, and she was screaming. Then later, the thing went dead. So that fear is so much. So what do we do? What should they do? What do you advise because of security reasons?
Okay, is the question directed to me?
Yes, Susan.
Okay, I think because of the insecurity reasons, that is why the youth should focus their mind more on being an entrepreneur themselves, creating job than seeking for job, because of the risk involved in looking for job. Do you understand? So, because for me, like a lot of our youth also, they have this problem of what should I be involved in doing? What kind of business and all that? I think if people are being taught the lines of business to go into, the opportunities and all that, you find out that we will tend to zero our mind from this, I want to be employed. But you being an employer of labor, it goes a long way. Like I was in a class and we're being told that the government can no longer help us. In fact, it's obvious. But so that's why we ourselves, we should create a niche for ourselves. We should not over depend on the government. I think the government needs help at this point. So let everybody be an entrepreneur. I found out that it will really build our economy on its own. So that's just my little contribution.
Wow. Thank you so much, Susan. Are you an entrepreneur?
I would have loved to be, like I told you, one of my challenges, Susan, I like to be an entrepreneur. For me, finance is not my problem, but what do you think you have passion to do? How can you create more jobs for people? For me to be I love to be an employer of labor.
Okay. Thank you very much for your contribution, Susan. I see that Freke Ndibaba has joined us. Freke Ndibaba. Freke Ndibaba. Can you hear us? I hope I pronounced that name correctly.
Yes, I can.
Yes, Freke, welcome. How are you?
Very well, sir.
Yes, so what are your thoughts so far on this critically important discussion this time around, especially how the current situation in the country, the fuel scarcity, our career growth?
Sir, well, the nice topic when it comes to the mental health of individual. With the current situation of the country, it's so demanding, going to work, taking care of family, and a number of things that one needs to attend to. And of course, our mental health has to be secured. If we have to take off time at work to relax, or even take off time at home to relax, and maybe take a walk of 5 to 10 minutes down the road to ease off the tension and everything.
Exercise.
You know, with the way the country is looking like. Fine, it's not looking too good for employers. It's also not looking too good for employees. We get to work very late. We get home very late. And we try to meet up targets and all of that. So I think it's a good topic to help, know what and what to do part time as it affects our health.
So what do you propose, apart from maybe what you advise that, okay, taking a walk when you're tensed up? What are the things you also propose?
Well, because we are a developing nation, a lot of things that I would want to say would be based on what the developed nations have developed. But you see, because it's going to be hard for us to find a way to work with it. One of which is the WFH working from home, which could help in one way or the other. But because of our kind of climate here and how our work ethics is, we might not be able to move it. But I think that would be best for us, with the way things are. Trust me, it has not been a good ride in the months of February down till March. I won't tell you that it has been easy. It hasn't been, but I hope that that working from home, we can find organizations that can really help. Maybe we'll come to work. I know some organizations that go to work 3 times a week, or some go 2 times a week. On Mondays, they go to work on Mondays, pick up target. Friday, they come back, show up their what they be able to meet up and then close in time so that they can go relax and then recharge for the week. I think my own proposition would be if we have organizations that will understand with their employees that it's not been easy, and then put themselves in their shoes. They want to give. They want to make themselves valuable. They want to give output on their job, not just because they want to be paid, but they want to be recognized. Motivation is much more than having the financial power to give. It's more of saying thank you, well done for what you have done.
We can see you.
Okay, even in the midst of all these challenges. So I hope that some certain organizations will find a way around it where they could help. Not all organizations can come into that client environment or that surrounding, but in that space, we could have some organizations. When we have a number of persons on the road, it still helps. So if some people are coming to work on Monday, there's a kind of routine. Some people come to work on Monday, some come to work on Tuesday within the department. And so in most climates, I know they do this shift Mondays to even I was even shocked to hear that even in some countries, even West African or North African countries, where we have our own banks there, Zenith banks, UBA and all of that, they don't work every day. They do not go to work every day. They have timings when they go to work and when they come back, so they can meet up with other demand. But in our own part of this world, we go to work we should resume at 7, we close at 5. And then you need to go back. That schedule is so rough, knowing that the economy is somehow it's affecting the health of people. I can tell you, I have a number of colleagues who have been down. They're trying to meet up, come to work, and they come to work, they're so sick, and then they want to sleep, and then the whole workload is on you because you have to sympathize with them or be empathetic. So I hope that in our own climate, we can find time like that where, okay, I kind of work, let's reschedule. Can we do 9 to 2? Can we do 7 to 12, and then somebody comes in again 2 to 4 or 2 to 3. We run that kind of thing. The way it is in Namibia and all of that, it will really go a long way to reduce this mental health issue. It's a long way for the country, anyway. It's a long way.
Yeah, thank you, Freke. So, in your own work environment, how have you been able to cope personally?
Personally, it has been challenging. So I work at the airport. Okay. I'm an IT support officer. I work at the airport, and I had to find a location or accommodation very close to the office because I foresaw some of these things coming through. Because I used to stay at Surulere. So coming in from Surulere to Ikeja is always a challenge. So if I run shifts in the afternoon, leaving the home by 2 just to meet up my office by 5 or 6, the traffic from Maryland down to Ikeja can be there for 3 hours, and then you are late for work, and then you are charged for lateness. So for my own part, I think we'll look at my own end here. It has been very, very rough. And well, thank God I stay very close now. So I see people go through the stress I used to go through. Okay, but for my own end, it's fine. I'm pushing it. I don't have fuel in my car. I don't have fuel in my gen. So sometimes I have to trek to work,
Wow.
So those who stay very far don't have cars, they have to bear the burden. I pity for them. But for my own part, I think it's fair enough for me. I can still manage with the way things are going. But I hope it doesn't choke us, because you won't know how it will affect you until it affects somebody else.
Yeah.
So we are 6 in the office, and 4 persons cannot come to work. It affects me also. It affects me also. But we're pushing it, and it's looking good. It's looking good. But I hope they find a way around it so that it doesn't become bad for us. That it's looking good for, like they say. Do not. There's a way they put it that you would think the war in Russia does not concern you.
Yes.
Until after a time, you now know that war will really affect you too. So let's just hope all will be well very soon.
Oh, thank you so much. I believe one of the things I picked from what you said is this. Now, proximity to your environment. That is a very key point. A key point. And I can imagine the stress you were facing coming all the way from where you were staying down to Surulere to Ikeja.
Oh, no.
I can imagine. So I think that's one thing I picked. Even though some people complain that the house rent might be quite on the high side, but I think on the long run, it's very key for our mental health. I think that's one thing I've taken from what you have said. It's very key for mental health, proximity to workplace. And I hope that some of our listeners are still picking this thing. So thank you very much, Freke, for your insight into this. We're going to be taking other of our participants, like Ichemuna Franklin. Ichemuna Franklin. Ichemuna Franklin. Are you there? Okay. Aziz Dolapo. Aziz Dolapo. Aziz Dolapo, are you there? Okay. Aziz Dolapo, okay. Tolulope Olurotimi.
Aziz Dolapo is here, sir.
Okay, welcome. Aziz Dolapo, I actually thought that was a male.
No.
Yes, good afternoon.
Speaking, but I'm in transit. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you, Tolulope. Okay, let's take Tolulope first, then we'll now take Aziz Dolapo next. So, Tolulope, how are you?
Yes, sir.
Now, as you're in transit now, what are the challenges that you're facing, and how is it affecting you?
Okay, yes. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, I'm actually moving from Maryland to Bega, and the old turnout on the road is outrageous. Aside the fact that there is an hike in the cost of transportation, there is traffic everywhere. It seems locked up. Because for me to move from Maryland down to Ojota, getting a public vehicle in itself, it's out of it, because of course everyone is already occupied from a distance away, and you would most likely not be able to get one at your own end. So you may have to probably opt for a motorbike to actually save time to wherever you are, being that everywhere is already locked up because of traffic caused by fuel stations that are on the way. And this whole fuel station thing is actually serious. It's a serious issue. But the fact that many vehicles are on a queue to actually get to buy fuel, and that causes traffic to the other vehicles which are just moving on the road for themselves. So everywhere is locked up, that you may actually have to opt to take a bike to wherever you are going to. You would have to save time.
Wow. Hello, Tolu.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yes. So now, are you actually going?
Okay. Hello, sir.
Are you going home from work, or you're going to work from home?
No, I'm actually going from work to somewhere else entirely, personal though.
Okay.
But not home.
So now,
but even at this time, everywhere is locked up already.
So now, by the time you get home, after all this, how do you feel personally?
Most times, once one is already utilized at work, meaning that you have a lot of things doing at work, your brain is already being taxed, at least 1 or 2 activities to physically, then you facing traffic again, returning home, you would most likely feel exhausted, making yourself not so productive for your own personal things, personal growth, personal development that you to actually do for yourself. So you would most times feel exhausted.
So, Dr. Omomi, what do you think is the best thing that we can? What is the best advice that you can have for your namesake?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. We have to try to, as much as possible, to balance out the stress. So when my namesake, Tolulope Olurotimi, gets home, she wants to distress and relax as much as possible. So what does she enjoy doing? What does she enjoy doing? When she comes home, she could put on good music that she enjoys listening to, and listen to it for some after showering and having something to eat. Then you want to relax as much as possible. You want to do something you like. Do you have something interesting going on TV? Some people like series. You can put it on and watch it. Some people like to dance. You can dance. You can take a hot shower just to distress and bring yourself back to basics, to like so you want to relax as much as possible, as much as you want to do it. You want to do something you enjoy. What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy reading? You just want to lie down and just relax with whatever it is you enjoy doing. Like me now, whenever I'm in a high test, I want to come back to a very hot shower.
But doctor, you know one thing. I'm actually playing the devil's advocate now, and now imagine I get home, and when I get home, Peter this session is recorded, and we're actually pulling it live on YouTube, so you can actually get the recording after. I get home after a stressful day, like Olurotimi said, and I'm supposed to listen to soft music, cool music. I'm supposed to take shower, and when I get home, our almighty power holding, they've taken light. And to make matters worse, there is no water, and you have to pump water.
It's actually freezing. I don't know.
Can you hear me
from my hand?
Okay, so you now have to pump water. Now, in the process of you now having to pump water, you start your generator, and your generator fails. Your generator fails to start. What do you do in this kind of situation? Freke, I know you must have experienced this kind of situation. You're coming home from work, and you get home and there's no light. You try to start your gen is smoking and everything collapses. What do you do in this kind of? I know you must have experienced this kind of situation. So what do you do?
So should we allow Freke to
let's Freke. I know Freke has experienced this a lot.
When it comes to that, a lot of things happen. But trust me, when I get home and then there's no power supply, there is no fuel to buy gen, to power the gen. My dear, I just take my bath and look for what to eat and sleep. There are no two ways about it. I don't want to go through that. After you go through the stress at work, and then you come back home, maybe your wife is there, your kids are there, your in-laws are around, and maybe they want to chill with you, and then there's no point. But then I just tell them I need to go and sleep. I prepare for the next day. I do my plans, and then I fall back to bed. That's all. I can't do more than that. I'm stressed out already after the traffic. No. I can't do more. With the current situation now, as it stands now, I have no fuel either in the generator or in the car. So we'll just do public. We get home, we take our bath, and then off we go. Tomorrow is weekend, thank God, so we can sleep till 10 a.m.
What about Oyindamola? I know Oyindamola, okay, you have experienced this a lot. We've discussed this so many times. So what are your own experiences?
What I do is simple. When I don't have any choice, I just take my bath and eat. Sometimes anytime I'm down like that, I'll just take a very chill wine. I'll just sleep. I don't stress myself. That's just it.
Then I know that Aziz Dolapo wanted to share something with us earlier. I don't know, you can unmute yourself and just share your own experiences and how you've been affected mentally about all these discussions that we've been having. Aziz Dolapo. Can you hear us, Aziz Dolapo? I actually thought he was male before because of the first name, but it was until she actually spoke that I got to know that she's female. Okay. Since Aziz is not talking, we have okay, Aziz, you've unmuted.
Yes, sir.
So what are your thoughts?
The thing there is, it's somehow hectic sometimes. Being that by the time you come back from work, face traffic, and actually I'm a nursing mother. So coupled with the fact that you still come and face baby at home, all those things. So, and before you even attend to family issues. So, but sometimes I just have to probably after attending to my baby, just take a bath. Sometimes I might not even remember to even eat. Wow. So that at least for you to go to bed early and prepare for the next day. And some these days, the traffic is somehow ethical. Before you even get to work, you have to, by the time you even get to work, you have to at least take a deep breath, maybe after getting to your seat, your position, you have to take some minutes for you to recover from the traffic and the stress so that you'll be able to be productive for the day.
So in a situation, that scenario that we painted earlier, that, okay, you get home, your baby is crying. As your baby is crying, they take light. Our almighty powerful will take light. When you experience all this, what do you do to ease up the stress?
Okay. What I do sometimes is I just have to okay, just after
I'm listening.
Okay, after bathing, I just have to bathe. So once I bathe, I feel relaxed a little. I feel relaxed. I just feel relaxed. Then sometimes I do listen to music.
Okay.
On my phone, use my phone to play music. Then that will still ease off the stress.
I see that a lot of people have been talking about bathing as the distressing agent here. It's unanimous now that bathing and listening to music is a way of controlling our mental stress, especially in the current Lagos or the current Nigeria now. So that one is a point that I've taken music and bathing. So I see we have Dr. Oluwaseun Olorunkoya that has also joined us. Dr. Seun Olorunkoya.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. You're welcome, Dr. Seun.
Dr. Seun, let me just give us a bit of Dr. Seun. Dr. Seun is a specialist also in mental health. He was supposed to take a session for Get Jobs career fair, but there were some hiccups. So he sent a full presentation. So thank you, Dr. Seun, for joining us. We've been talking about
You're welcome.
we've been talking about, everybody has been expressing ourselves about all the challenges we've been facing in Lagos, how it affects us. We talked about, one of us was talking about him being in, her being in traffic, and she has been in traffic all day, noise, spending 3 hours. And I recall that one of the governors, just a few days ago, he said that an average Lagosian spends 4 hours in traffic every day. And that if an average Lagosian has already spent hellfire, and you should just go to heaven straight. So all this encompassing, I don't know what your thoughts are. Yes.
Well, I wish that can happen. But it's impossible, actually. He's not in a place to decide who goes to heaven or hell. But that being said, we in Lagos, we need to take care of our mental health, whether I would like it or not. We can't change anything about Lagos. Lagos is just like New York. So we just need to a state like Lagos. And one of the things you can do to help your mental health in Lagos, visit more of parks in nature. We need to interact with nature more, because we stay more in a building, in concrete buildings. We don't really go out. We stay most time indoors. We should try and make out time, maybe mostly during weekends, to interact with nature.
What is this thing?
Okay, I think his network, okay. Yes. I think those are some of the mental stress that we're talking about. Network issues.
He's back.
Okay, he's back. You're back, Dr. Sheon.
Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Sheon.
Yeah, like I said we need to imbibe the culture of interacting with nature. I know we might not really have much of that in Lagos, but there are a couple of places. Thank God, at least the Lagos state government did something like, there are some parks in pockets areas in Lagos that we should try and visit, just stay and interact with this green. Talking about the plants, the flowing rivers and lakes, interact with them. What I mean by interaction with them is that try and enjoy the presence. It helps you in connecting with yourself, and it boosts your mental well-being. Most people don't see that as something they should look up to. If you look at those in the remote settings, yes, you might say those in the village are backward in terms of technologically, the way they are connected, the way we are connected to technology, but they don't have such opportunity. But if you look at them, the way they look, I'm sure most of us will have traveled to the village, maybe during the Christmas break. You see some of these people, they live longer than us that lives in the busy area of Lagos or any other part of Nigeria that is busy. The reason is not because of only the food, because they also interact with nature. Then another thing you should do, this individualization of human beings in this part of the world, a global citizen, whereby we are now copying everything everybody's doing. We want to be on our own, all man to himself. As much as you do that, form a community, have a tribe whereby you can always vent when you are passing through challenges. I'm not talking about you venting so that it can help you. I'm talking about where you can, vent the tension of the week. It's not maybe use you as a trending topic on social media. I'm talking about those that you see as families that you can relate with. Those two things are very, very vital if you must stay afloat in this kind of environment called Lagos. So those are the two things I think we need to be very mindful of. And the third one I think we should also do in managing our mental health, learn how to journal. Journaling, when I mean journaling, I'm not talking about keeping a diary. I'm talking about journaling, writing about your daily experiences. It helps you. It's as good as maybe, okay, you have pouring out all your negative energy, all your good memories into a note. If you try it, you see how light you become mentally, and you have a good perspective in dealing with life issues. Those are the three things I think we need to be very mindful of. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sheung. There was also something that we mentioned before you joined us, and we talked about the issue of ritual killings.
Okay.
We also talked about the issue of suicide. We talked about why would able-bodied person actually decide to jump off the bridge, and we have thought we can also link it to the abuse, the high rates of drug abuse in our country now. There was a news some weeks ago where tramadol was seized from an Indian national in the northern part of Nigeria, trucks. So is drug use of tramadol a way of escape from mental health, especially among the youths? Why do they go into drugs so much? Why do we have 18-year-old teenagers go into ritual killings? Why do we have almost every household having a Yahoo or a fraudster, actually thriving? Is there a connecting dot between mental health and all this? Even people that are in the top cadre in the organizations, you find them that after when they close from work, some of them can't even go home. Some of them have to branch at some locations to take some of these drugs, abuse some of these drugs. So how can we come out of this quagmire that we are in?
Okay. Let me start with the ritual killing. You know, the ritual killing thing is a case of value breakdown. It has been with us for many years, but it has become much pronounced in this era because the value system has been destroyed. If you observe, you see some parents, comparing their own words with others. He's telling you, see your mate has bought a car for their father, or see your mate is doing this. If you profile most who are ritual killings, check out who they see as their role models. Even you see, even in this part of the world, we glamorize money more than anything. If someone can be telling you that school is a scam, what do you expect of a 17-year-old child? If someone of 20, 25 years is already telling a 10-year-old child that school is scam, what do you want that child to do? So the area, I'm not saying everything is totally subjected to the family, but the family system has been battered for some years now. And the family system happens to be the cradle of value, whereby value are being formed and upheld. But the family has been battered, and you don't expect anything less than the decadence you are seeing today. So we need to take it back to the family for us to solve that issue, at least not totally, but at least to a larger extent in terms of this money being the all in all, and which is really culminating into ritual killings to make money. And funny enough, I used to ask people, with all the ritual killings for money that people have been doing, I've never seen anybody as rich as Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates So why do it? The only thing you do is just, you just use it to oppress your community. You can't use it to oppress the global village. So what are you doing? What is the essence of the ritual killings? So the value system needs to be dealt with. Without that, we might just be going about in circles. Now, let's move to the drug issue you're talking about. Every one of us, including me, we face challenges. But most of us start doing drugs to escape the reality of the challenges we are facing in life. Some of us, we started doing drugs, maybe, okay, take for instance, someone who is dealing with the issue of low self-esteem and needs to take, and in the click anything. And they bought into that perception. Yes, it will work for a while, but the drug, in essence, will always wear off the system, and you need to augment to sustain that confidence level. But the bad thing about drugs is that the benefit is always short-lived, but the damage is always something that the damage it outweighs the benefit you get. Most times when you see people do drugs, they try to escape from reality, and they use it as a coping mechanism to deal with life issues. That is why when they present themselves to people like us, we try to help them identify their triggers, because there are triggers, there are things that makes them wanting to go back to drugs. You need to help them identify the triggers. Then you also help them to develop a healthy coping mechanism in dealing with life issues. You get what I'm saying? So once they've been able to build a healthy coping mechanism, then they can be able to make informed decisions in stopping drugs. But drug at first might be something that you feel you can deal with. But once you start getting compulsive, you get addicted to it, it might be very difficult to deal with. But no hope is lost. When you seek for help, you can be helped. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that insight. However, your last statement.
Yes.
You said, if you want help, you can be helped.
Yes.
Now, we have a lot of them. For instance, those people that have committed suicide, they've actually tried to get help. But a lot of them do not get this help. So how best can you advise that they get this help?
One of the things, I work with an NGO, Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministries. We are into rehabilitation of persons with substance use disorder. And we are just doing our bits, because the case of drug addiction is an epidemic. It's something that cuts across any age, race, sex. It cuts across everybody, both low, high, and mighty. The first thing in helping people is to destigmatize them. Most times people don't seek for help because of the stigma. Most people don't seek for help because of the stigma. If you recall, the reason why people started coming to seek help when they had HIV was because the former Minister of Health, the Ransom Beko Kuti, was the one. He was the one. Ransom Olukoyi Kuti was the one. He came out and said his brother was HIV. That was why the high and mighty could come out and seek for help. So if the bishops knows that if they can seek for help, they won't be stigmatized against, they will start coming out for help. But because of the stigma of drug use, most people don't want to seek help. But where I work, we don't stigmatize against you. We try to help you in the best possible way we can. Now you talked about suicide. Most of these people who commit suicide, you know, because in this part of the world, we don't pay attention to ourselves. I must tell you, we don't pay attention to ourselves. As much as, you know, we are meant to be communal in nature, but we are not any longer. Everyone is minding their business. And if you see most people who commit suicide, particularly the young chaps, you see that they always leave some unsaid message, some cryptic message on their social media handle, or even amongst their friends. But most often than not, it's always late before they can decode such messages. So we need to look out for each other. When someone is saying they are tired, I'm fed up with life, you know that this person normally doesn't give up on life. And the person is saying things like that. Don't gloss over it. Don't say, you're a man now, shake it off, you'll be fine. No. Try and probe further. Know what exactly. If you can't help, please lead them to seek for help. Don't compound their issues, because we are losing more potentials to these mental health issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe that there are some questions. Somebody was raising up his hand, not quite. And I think Peter Onuigbo, I think it was you that raised up your hand.
Okay.
Peter Onuigbo, Ndukaku. You can unmute your mic. Peter Onuigbo, I saw your hand raised up earlier. Okay, since Peter is not there, I see, okay, Peter. Peter Onuigbo, Ndukaku, you raised up your hand. Your mic is on mute now.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so do you have a question for Dr. Shehu?
What I want to just say with respect to what he just said is that most of the things that he said, let me pick the one that you can go to a park, relax, unwind. These are the things that exist in mental health literature. But the truth of the matter is that are they driven down to Nigerian system? Are we practicing it? We keep on saying you go to park, relax, unwind. Then all in literature we read it, but in the real sense of it, it's not practical. Thank you.
So, Dr. Shehu, is what Peter has...
Can I speak to that?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, Peter, I think you are very wrong. That is an assumption. Because I, in person, I practice it, and I have a lot of friends of mine that does that. So you saying is in literature, everything I told you or I said just now is something that I've been dealing with concerning my clients, and they practice it. So maybe you have not been practicing it. So don't assume that it's something that is just in literature. It's obtainable here in this part of the world, Nigeria, precisely in Lagos. Another question, please.
Okay, Peter. Hello, Peter. I hope you're okay with the question, with the response.
No problem.
Now, if you have anyone, if you have anybody that is in that particular category and that needs help, I think Dr. Shehu will be able to provide you location and the address for such a person to actually get in touch with them. So,
okay, noted.
Yes, I don't know, Dr. Shehu, maybe you can just call out your.
I'm already doing that. I'm doing that.
Okay, no, you know, we're also live on YouTube. So for our participants that are joining us on YouTube, so that they can also have that information. Okay.
Our office is at number 5 Yusuf Close off Amarolu Street by First Gate bus stop. Agidingbi, Ikeja here.
Okay.
Number 5 Yusuf Close off Amaraolu Street by First Gate bus stop at Agidingbi, Ikeja. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sheung. I see
Then
that.
you can also reach me on sheung.o@kadam.org.ng. sheung.o for orange at kadam.org.ng.
Okay.
So should you have any question, I'll be glad to respond.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. I see Susan. Susan Okunma is raising up her hand. Susan, you have the floor. You can unmute your mic and ask your questions or make your contribution.
Okay, I would like to make some few contributions concerning mental health. I've actually been listening to doctors' contribution, but the truth is, like Mr. Peter Onlibo said, not everybody practice this
Susan, I think you have issues with your network. Part of the mental stress that I talked about earlier. Network is giving us mental stress.
Mental health practice. Whereby
Susan,
myself, I'm one of them. I tend to work more.
Can you repeat yourself? We didn't hear you for a while.
Okay, yeah.
So you can start again.
Hello, Susan. Can I hear you, please? Speak. Hello?
Hello, Susan.
Network.
Yes, network. Okay. Israel Ime Etuk. Israel Ime Etuk. You can unmute your mic.
Star, can you ask them to just simply type their questions instead?
Can you hear me now?
Maybe they can just type their question.
Okay, Susan, we can hear you. Okay.
Okay, like I said, it's not everybody that practice this practice of you unwinding after work for you to have a good mental health. And I'm saying that myself, I'm one of them. I'm this kind of workaholic. I put more into work and I think less of myself and all that. So I think it's something we really need to drive so that people will help themselves. So at times, like what I do, but I think it's not enough. After work, you see me relaxing for like say 1 hour with one of the movies I like and all that. But I think there is more to it. And also the contribution I also want to make for those of us in Lagos, we tend to live very far away from the place of our work. So it's something we can have a vision of you staying close to where you work. If you can work with that, a lot of us we tend to say, maybe the accommodation is expensive. But by the time you think of the time you spend on the way and your transportation, you find out that you can get a place closer to your workplace. But these are the disadvantage you may have is job security. You don't know, maybe because in this country, a lot of things happen. You don't know how secure your job is. But if you know you have a secure job, my advice for those of us living far away from their workplace is to live closer to your workplace to help develop your mental health. If you calculate the time, the stress you spend on the way, the amount you spend on transportation and all that, except if you're living in your own apartment, you could dare to take that risk. But if you're not living in your apartment, I would suggest you live close to your workplace. It will help you. You could also, your church, most of the activities should be close to your workplace. Your church should be close to your house. Your office should be close to your house. It will help you develop a good mental health. That's the much I can say for now. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you, Susan. Dr. Seun, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, Susan has a point in terms of moving, staying close to where you work, but it's not obtainable all the time. Like Shirley said, that accommodation can be a very serious matter in Lagos. The only thing you can do, you just need to be intentional about your mental health. You need to be intentional about it. Like Peter said, he said that he's just in the books that you see it. It's not. If you are not intentional about this, just the way we are intentional about eating morning, afternoon, night, except when we are fasting, we need to be intentional about our mental health. You know, we take care of our physical health, but we don't pay attention to our mind, our brain, because this is what makes you you. This thing, your mind, is what makes you you. If they call Seun, it is this thing that they call, not the body or the face. So you need to pay attention to it. You need to invest in your mental health. And the way you go about it is being intentional about everything you do. If you can't help out in staying close to where you work, you need to practice scheduling. I can remember when I was still much younger, I can remember I was living in Bariga and I was working at Aja. And what I did, I just needed to schedule my time. It can be hard, but it takes discipline. Then you know that, okay, during your weekends, you need to take time out to relax. When I say relaxing, it doesn't mean you need to spend so much money. There are a lot of things you do without having to spend money. If you just to, watch a movie, speak to your loved ones, listen to good music, or you go for a stroll around nature. It's a way of boosting your mental health so that by the time you resume on Monday, you are fired up to do the week's work. You need to schedule your time. If it's this is the time I need to wake up, this is the time I need to do my thing so that I can beat the traffic. Most times some of us, we drive against traffic or we move against traffic. You need to know when the traffic is high and when it's low so that you can be able to maximize your time. So you need to schedule your time, be intentional about everything you do. Don't leave anything to chance. When it comes to your mental health, you can't leave it to chance. You need to be intentional about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Seun. We also have Dr. Omowumi. Dr. Omowumi, are you still here? Dr. Omowumi Tolulope, are you still there? Okay, we have ECMTHR. EC, I don't know what your name is, but I see that you're ECMTHR. Your name shows as ECMTHR. You might be human resources part. Okay, I think we have a lot of challenges with network. People are trying to rejoin back, and it's throwing them off, and So Dr. Tolu Omowumi. Dr. Tolu Omowumi, you can unmute. You can unmute your mic.
Yes, I've unmuted. I'm here, sir.
Yes. So what are your thoughts concerning the issues that Dr. Seun raised?
Well, I think Dr. Seun, thank you very much for speaking to us. I think he has raised cogent issues actually. Like he said, I wanted to reiterate that when Peter said it was not practicable, that it's actually practicable. I think why Peter said that was because, when people are raising for survival and how do I get food? How do I get money? How do I pay my house rent? The school fees is here. You know, all those commitments and obligations as a way of choking you down and not helping you to actually see that this thing is actually important for you to do. So I think that's why Peter said that, you know, because people are thinking, how am I going to, where is the next salary coming from? How am I going to do this? So they are not actually intentional. Like you said, I wanted to say that actually, that it's being intentional that will actually help you to be able to prioritize your mental health. If you are not intentional about it, issues are going to accumulate and the person is going to get weighed down. Some people run into depression and all that, and they will not be able to tackle things as they come, and things might pile up and get worse. So you have to, just like Dr. Shion said, you have to be very intentional about it. Take time out, walk down the streets, walk down your area, distress. You just have to know how to distress. Like me now, I distress a lot by talking to people that I feel love me, people that I feel support me. When I'm having issues, I'll call them. When I talk to them like 30, 20 minutes, my mind is free. I am happy. I am jumping up and down despite the challenges that I'm facing. So like you said, you have to just be intentional about interacting with nature. I'll just have to reiterate that. Then the support system that you have to have your own tribe. I cannot overemphasize it. You cannot be going through life and having challenges and issues and you don't have your own people, be it friends, work colleagues, people that you feel understand you, you feel will resonate when you talk about your issues, to resonate with them, and they will provide help and provide solution. You just have to have those people in your corner. Maybe mentors, maybe friends, maybe family, maybe sisters, whoever they may be, that you could actually call and talk to if you are having issues. So you don't feel overwhelmed and feel like you are the only one handling the issues. You know, when you talk to people like that, there's a way they make the issues lighter. They make you see solutions that you're not even considering before. And like you said, John, when you journal, it's as if you have poured all your anxiety, all your depressive thoughts into that note, and you feel a lot more lighter. You gain better perspective of the situation when you actually journal and write down some things you've been going through, how your day went, and you actually write it down. There's a way it gives you perspective. It helps you think clearer and better, and helps you know what next to do. Then what I just want to add to it is cultivating happiness. What makes you happy? You have to make sure you are doing it regularly. Self-care and whatever makes you happy. Like me now, like he said, like our host said before, and some people have said, and I have also talked about it before. Having your bath, listening to good music. And some people, self-care generally, whatever gives you joy, make sure that you practice it regularly. And I just pray God helps us to make sure that we keep our mental health intact in the face of all.
Amen. Amen to your prayers. Now, I think we'll take our last, it's a thank God it's Friday for a lot of people. And we had Israel Ime Etuk actually raise up his hand earlier before he was thrown off due to network. So Israel, we'll take you as the last question and the last contribution.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, Ed.
Yeah, thank you so much for putting up a forum like this for us to hear out our minds about mental health issues. Really, for me, I would say as a Nigerian, naturally, the way the country is, you can't just run away from the mental health issue because a lot of things are happening in this country. Quite some mind-boggling things. I know even at place of work, in your family, where you stay, and the rest. Just like the last speaker said, what may be appealing to you or what actually helping you deal with a particular mental stress, for you might not be the same thing that will be applicable to me. For me, I would like to share anytime I observe that I'm mentally stressed, I love playing with my children in the house. I just put up a play like that to play around the house and everything. I just give myself joy. Before you know it, I'll be sweating, and they will be playing. Over time, that's actually truly very good for me. And just can actually learn from all that we have shared together. I just wanted to mention that point. For me, I like playing with my kids to leave myself of this mental stress. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Israel Ime Etuk. Thank you for your insights. So this is 4:39 p.m. Nigerian time, and we don't want to allow what Governor El Rufai said come to pass in our lives today. So we have to end this session. So I'll just ask some of our speakers to give their last words just in about 30 seconds so that we end this program. So I'll take Dr. Oluwaseun Olorokoya first. Just your last words.
All right. I really want to thank you for organizing this forum. It's something that I'm sure you do regularly, and I'm sure the youth will benefit more from things like this. I also want to enjoin every one of us to pay attention to our mental health, because there's no health without mental health. So take care of it. It's very, very paramount. Without it, you are not available. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming at such a short notice. Thank you very much. So, Dr. Omowumi, just your last words. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you very much for putting together this kind of discussion, and I really appreciate it. I've learned a lot from it myself, and I just want us to know that we cannot run away from taking care of ourselves mentally. We just have to put in effort and make sure that our mental health is optimal, or else every other thing falls apart, and we won't be able to even talk about career or even growth if our mental health is out of place. So I enjoin every one of us to be deliberate in making sure that we are sound mentally. Thank you very much. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you. Susan Okoma, thank you very much for the thumbs up. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel on Get Jobs. I shared the link on the chat. Go to our Get Jobs YouTube channel. Kindly like and subscribe. And the whole essence of liking and subscribe is just to encourage us more to do this kind of educative videos. We're talking about jobs and careers, but also we have to talk about the mental side, not only about how to get the jobs. So this will encourage us if you like and subscribe our YouTube channel. And also, you can also check over so many videos we've shared in our past events so far. And so how to write your CV, a lot of things that are on our YouTube channel that you can always get to watch and learn. So it's my pleasure to have you all on this platform, and thank you very much, and have a lovely weekend, everybody. So I wish you all the best. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye, Peter. Bye-bye, Susan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.